Hi, I'm Georgia. I've just finished my undergraduate degree at the University of York in archaeology, and I'm here to talk a little bit about my dissertation research, where I sort of explored children's experiences of archaeology outside of school. And as part of this, I designed and delivered a session for a young archaeologist club group. This was all themed around Avebury, and my research was done with support from the Avebury Papers, who I'll talk to you a bit about first. The Avebury Papers is a project that's currently in the process of digitising, transcribing and publishing online the Alexander Keiller Museum's archive. Avebury is a Neolithic henge monument in northeast Wiltshire, and along with Stonehenge is a World Heritage Site, and it has the largest stone circle in the world. The museum itself contains a multitude of media, including artefacts, photographs and written documents dating mostly from the 1934 to 39 excavations led by Alexander Keiller. These were the only large-scale excavations at the site, and aside from a summary of excavations published in the 1960s, the detail they revealed remains pretty much unstudied. The Avebury Papers project is continuing the work that ended really abruptly due to the Second World War and will provide a fuller understanding of this amazing site. The team is a collaboration between the University of Bristol, the University of York, the National Trust and the Archaeology Data Service, with some support from Historic England and English Heritage. So my undergraduate dissertation aimed to explore effective methods of communicating archaeological techniques to children. As part of this, I ran a 2-hour session with the Young Archaeologist Club in December 2023. This session was themed around archaeological diaries, and while this might not necessarily be the first thing you think of when using the phrase archaeological techniques, they're really important to record all aspects of excavation, so not just what you find, but also the emotional experience of excavating. There were several kinds of diary from the Keiller excavations, first being the excavation log written by Keiller himself and also Stuart Piggott, which recorded quite briefly the events of the day, what went on. And then secondly, we have a diary written by Dennis Grant King, which is in the top right, who wrote a more descriptive account of his excavations and recorded a lot more personal details about what happened and what happened to him in the day. These diaries sort of provided a basis for exploring different kinds of narrative accounts in the session. The session had 2 parts. The first exploring transcription, which allowed the kids to have a go at recording the contents of actual diaries, just like the Avebury Papers volunteers do when they're digitising these diaries. In the second part, they created their own diary entries inspired by excavations they'd been on in the past, or imagining they were taking part in Keiller's excavations. These diaries were in the format of zines, which are small folded paper booklets. The session plan and resources are open access on the YAC website, so they can be reused and shared with other YAC branches, as well as teachers or educators from other groups. So behind me are some of the examples of the diaries that the children wrote in the session. And I think in these, the influence of the original diaries from the transcription task is pretty clear. This one behind me really follows the structure and some of the themes of Dennis Grant King's diary entries, such as the visit to Barbury Castle, the style and positioning of the illustration, and the narrative style being really fluid and descriptive. At the end of the session, I gave the children a survey. I asked them about their favourite activities in the past from when they've been to YAC before, and this helped me conclude with a few key points to consider if you want to go away and design some activities for the Young Archaeologist Club. So first of all being focus on tactile and interactive activities. This seems quite obvious. Kids and frankly adults quite like to get stuck in with hands-on activities. The second one I said was to focus on activities that simulate archaeological methods. At the end of the day, these YAC kids want to be archaeologists, so their best activities are the ones that let them have a go at doing real archaeology. Third, to consult existing resources. The YAC website has a things to do section, which has loads of activities on a huge range of topics. There's ancient Egypt, there's Romans, there's all sorts, and this is a really good resource that I think may be a bit underused. And last of all, we really need to make evidence clear for leaders who are not archaeologists. YAC is run by volunteers, and not all of these people have studied or worked in archaeology and heritage before. And to best support them, it's really important to be really clear on the facts so that they can be really confident in delivering it to the kids. As a final point, I just want to get on my soapbox and talk about why archaeology education is so important. In recent years, the availability of archaeology to young people has been removed a lot, drastically reduced, mostly by the removal of the archaeology A-level in 2016. The reduction of opportunities to study archaeology in formal education has really amplified the need to have really effective and engaging out-of-school resources. Achieving a good balance between presenting archaeological information accurately and presenting it in an age-appropriate manner is really key to inspire interest for these young archaeologists, and it's really needed now more than it ever was before. I really think this research has highlighted how important these out-of-school archaeological resources are, and the responsibility of institutions such as universities and museums to use the information that they care for to create some really meaningful and engaging resources. It's sort of limited to when it fits the national curriculum, and thus supporting the Young Archaeologists Club and other extracurricular groups is really vital to inspire young archaeologists and to generate a lifelong interest in the field. And something that's really important is that YAC does rely on volunteers and donations to run. So if you have as passionate about this as me and have time to volunteer, or if you have some resources that you could consider donating, that would be a really good thing to do. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about the Avebury Papers project, you can visit their website, which I've just put on screen, or follow their Instagram account. Thank you.